and we're just gonna use the public speaking document up there, so, and that includes alderpersons as well. So please sign in, even if you're not speaking. Thanks.
Sarah, I was bending the sheet over.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
How do I differentiate between?
Well, we'll wing it.
Public comment.
Just ask if they.
Yep.
It's a public computer. This is public comment.
Were you not listening?
Yeah, but isn't, public.
Okay, so I just made an announcement.
We're just.
Sorry. I'm not to lose my temper, but
Yeah.
I'm afraid. I'm great. Need a seat. Yeah, great.
How's the summer going? It's almost over.
Say that, I'm just trying to not think about what date it is and just enjoy it. Yeah,
When do you go back?
like the 10th. It's really early, but I think on the 7th, I can go in a little early, the 7th.
The seventh?
If I want, the
August?
7th is optional. The 10th is not optional.
Yes, these people want to.
Yeah.
They pay us to go in for 3 hours, so I'll probably do
Hey.
it,
Why not?
Megan wants to talk. Were there any more? No, they just saying.
Looks like they're all lined up.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave it on. It's-
Mm-hmm.
Turn on the. Check.
Right, it works. I was just talking to.
I'm trying to get the camera to pick me up. There it goes, right there in the sun. That's me, right there in the sun.
You got that Trump order. Aren't you healing somebody or something?
For those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and go through this quickly. Yes.
Yeah, sure. No, well, I mean, we need to do it.
With that.
Oh, I got signs.
My good friends always say, "Oh, you're such by the book." Huh? By the book. Which book is in? The Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'm Elder Vander Mormon. I'd like to give him a small 2 days. God, that's amazing.
How's your Sunday dinner tonight?
Oh, good, yeah. My husband did all the cooking, so.
Oh.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Nice. In-laws appreciated it?
What?
It was the in-laws, right?
Yeah.
Pass that on to Mr. Clerk. There any more chairs back there?
I know. It's a soft people, you know. You can get some from behind the tables too, I suppose.
Check out the sheets.
Oh, great.
Right, because we're still in the middle of conversion.
That's okay.
Cash is the same.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been out of this down 12 years and I've never seen anything like it.
So once again, even if you don't wish to give public comment tonight, we're asking you to sign in because we are having a public hearing on our grant, proposal. So, we ask you to sign in.
That's not as one. That's why you vote for
Matt, can't be here today.
Yeah, I saw the email last week, right? Yep. I just met him.
Okay. Just want to make sure you knew that.
Mm-hmm. He's in the
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. All right. All right, at 6:35, I'd like to call this meeting of the Morrison City Council to order. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Bruckner,
Here.
Buckwalter.
Here.
Dunn,
Here.
Mahaffey,
Here.
Schlegel, Pravelt,
Here.
Tickler.
Say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So with apologies for inconvenience, we are having a public hearing tonight regarding our Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program, the grant that we have applied for, and I will ask the city administrator to further elaborate.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, so this first part of the meeting, of course, is a public hearing, first of at least two public hearings. Essentially as a requirement for the upcoming grant application to the Illinois Department of Transportation's Illinois Traffic Enhancement Program. The grant application process opens up August 1st and closes on October 5th. The city of Morrison is seeking funding from IDOT and the ITEP program for a multi-use and shared path connecting North Jackson Street with Harvey subdivision, if you live in that subdivision, and the east end of the commercial corridor, and of course, the Morrison Sports Complex. The program that we are applying for this funding through is a traffic enhancement program. So even though it's a path, IDOT still considers it a shared path because there are several different mechanisms that a person could utilize to move about on public roadways, to include motor vehicles, walking, and cycling. And so the objective of their grant program is to allocate resources to well-planned, smaller scale, but critically important projects that provide and support connected alternate modes of transportation that are safe for all users, enhance the transportation system while preserving the visual and cultural resources and improving the overall quality of life for the members of the community. So the way this project works is the city will be seeking up to 100% of the funding for the project. Right off the bat, it's a 80-20 split, meaning the state will fund 80% and the local agency, the local match is 20%. But there is also included in this a community score, which is a local match assistance, whereby depending on our demographics and how we qualify, we could qualify, become eligible for funding up to 100%. So we could either get funding for 80%, 90%, or 100% of the total project. 2 years ago, when we applied for this grant, which we missed by 1 point, we were eligible for 90% of the project cost. So we're hoping we receive at least that again, or at least be eligible for it again this cycle. There's a lot of history to this path. Everyone here probably knows of our Morrison Sports Complex. That project started clear back in 2004. And the city has been, and organizations have been talking about a shared path to that sports complex ever since 2004. In 2005, we received utility easements. 2011, we received a recreation easement. In 2018, Friends of the Parks Foundation with Ride Illinois created a bike plan for our community. And then, of course, in 2024, we applied for this funding with great effort and missed it by a point. It was hard to take, but we learned from it, and we're going to do better this time. So our project is essentially to seek land acquisition and or easements, and through project engineering and construction is to, of course, to build a multi-use shared path connecting North Jackson Street and all destinations in between there and the Morrison Sports Complex. This path will be a 10-foot asphalt path with signage, safety barriers, landscaping, and path lighting. There are so many anticipated benefits to this project. This is certainly a path forward for our community. It provides safe and alternative access connecting Morrison Sports Complex to the rest of the community and all destinations in between. It enhances transportation opportunities and diversity that will attract visitors and new residents to the area and to the sports complex. And then, of course, ultimately, we're always looking to create economic opportunities and growth. And importantly, it's part of our strategic plan from our process a couple years ago. It's through that process, we learned that it still is what our community wants. Behind you on the TV kind of shows there's actually 3 path options here, but this first path here is the option we are seeking, which is path option number 1. It's a path that's approximately 0.65 mile long, about 3,400 feet, that actually connects from the end of Kimmel Road. If you can see my arrow there, that's the actual end of Kimmel Drive by the Greenview Estates. And then the other end of the light blue line is the path that starts out at the sports complex. That is the path that we are seeking, even though, as I will show you here, here's another option. This option number 2 is about the same distance, but will add significant cost to it because there is a valley through here, and it would create 1, maybe 2 bridge structures and much excavation if we went that route. And then the third option is essentially just to follow the tree line around, which also creates additional costs and excavation. This is where I usually have in my PowerPoint, the project cost. This was the cost, 2 years ago when we put this project, we submitted this project, which is right about 800,000. And I'd never had this happen before, but IDOT said we didn't ask for enough money. So we will be asking for more money. I expect that this project will probably be right around $1.2 million to do the complete project, if not more. The application process is this, and this is why we're having this public hearing tonight, is there's an online application. We're still finishing up all the cost estimations and the preliminary engineering, because for this project, we have to have essentially a concept created. And we're providing a more specific concept to IDOT this next year. The council will then, of course, have to, once we know the cost, we'll have to commit to up to 20% of the project through a financial commitment resolution. And then there's a bunch of statements, but the most important part is the public's involvement. And that's what part of tonight is, and letters of support. So I'm always looking for public feedback on this project. Hence, we're having this public hearing. And if anyone is interested in submitting for the city a letter of support for this project, on the table in the back before you leave, I have put copies of information for you to submit a letter of support. And on the back of that flyer, there is even a draft letter of support that you can go off of. And then if you consider a letter of support, and it could be from just a resident, you don't have to be a business, a property owner, just a resident of our community, to submit a letter of support. Last 2 years ago when we submitted it, I believe we had almost 30 letters of support, and I'm trying to top that if I can. So if you are, if you would consider doing a letter of support, there's information back there for you to grab to make it really easy for you. So it's a pretty straightforward project. We're excited to submit this application for it. Again, I've been in contact with IDOT on an ongoing basis to make our chances even better and to get the proper feedback we need to make this project successful. Because in my professional opinion, and as a resident of this town, I think this is a very significant project that would be very beneficial to everyone in Morrison, not just the people going to the sports complex or the people that live out along that way. So sorry I went through it very quickly. If you have any questions or want to provide me any feedback, again, yell at me at City Hall. My information is also on that flyer in the back. So that is my presentation, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Any questions, comments? Otherwise, please pick up material as you leave. And of course, the whole presentation, there's a link on the city website as well. All right, public comment. I think I have the. So. I apologize, we asked you all to sign in because of the public hearing, so we're using the same forms. But, Jeff DeGroat.
I like the opening here that you guys are talking about, improving and making more beautiful. That's been on the agenda for this city for the last 20-some years. And that's one of my objections to the way this 903 West Morris has been coming about. And let me just recap here. This issue was brought up in April, and the first variance committee voted no. And then it came to the council meeting, and there was quite a bit of good debate back and forth. And it kicked down the road because they wanted to give Avi's crew a chance to clean up their act a little bit down there. And I think they did a little bit. It's not as good as it should be, to be honest with you, but give them a chance. Well, then they took it back to the variance committee again. And, excuse me, they voted in favor. But there were 3 members missing at the variance committee, so I'm not sure how good what that amounts to. But anyway, if the council decides to approve today, there may be a way to help keep this issue, to help the people in our area so it doesn't bother us with the noise, the traffic, and the aesthetics. If you're sitting in Hal's apartment over there in the corner on Oak, I mean, it's a mess over there. It's, there's vehicles over there. Was a vehicle over there for about 3 weeks with no motor in it sitting there on top of the hill. It's not something that we, you want to make Morrison beautiful, that's not the way to do it, okay? So anyway, there is a way to help this situation out a little bit and still help Javi, because to be honest with you, and I agree with a lot of people, Javi is a good guy. He's got a good business. It's nice that the business is in town. He's a really nice guy, and he actually works for me at times. So I know he does good work. And I have no issue with that at all. It's just the fact that the aesthetics, looking at what you can see there, and that's the biggest issue for me anyway. The traffic has gotten better. It's still noisy at times, even in the evenings. There was a rooster crowing again the other morning. So I've got a handout here for everybody that might solve part of the problem. If you would give a variance, or going to give the variance, maybe issue it only for a small portion, a certain portion of the complete area that he owns. There's a way to put it out of sight. I got 15 copies here. You guys can look at it. So out of sight, out of mind, and if the area in orange on the sheets, where it was, if you decide to approve a variance, that particular area to the south and the west of the old building, the old country club building, would be a place where nobody would be able to see it. And it would cut down on the noise. There's not enough room left in the old GE or the old country club parking lot to be of any use for the business. If GE put a fence up right now there, they wouldn't be able to even use a skid loader there to pick up the material. So that's kind of why I would say if we do a variance for that area, and if you restricted them to putting only all their material, all their trailers and their work vehicles, that's like skid loaders and trailers, that type of stuff, in that particular area, the noise would be reduced to next to nothing. And it would be out of sight. And that's my suggestion. I don't know if that would help you get this approved or not. I don't know what else you could do to help the situation, but that's just my thoughts. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Dan Hawkins?
Good evening, Dan Hawkins from Sauk Valley Law Group. I represent Hal and Linda Schneider. They own the property at 302, 304 Oak. And we're opposing the 903 Morris special use. So first of all, on the application on its face, it does not agree that there will not be an unruly increase in traffic. The box is not checked. 2, the essential character of the locality and property in question will not be altered. By having this the way it is structured now, it does. The other thing you have is your zoning code. Zoning code specifically lists what special uses can go into this area. And you have to live within the four corners of your zoning. And this is not allowed use within the zoning classifications as I said. Problems with the property with noise, traffic, chicken coop. You know, at the last hearing, there was talk, well, GE used to be there. Well, GE is not there anymore. And it's not really industrial anymore. It's just a lot of concrete, right? Now, we've been in contact with GE's lawyers and I think they filed for a permit. They're gonna put up fencing that is gonna really hinder the ability of Hobby to even get in this property the way he used to be able to drop stuff off. So when the fence does go up, how does he even get there to deliver like the rock, whatever else that he needs? Out going on to Oak Street, the residential street. The other thing that was brought up at the last meeting was that this was consistent with the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan shows that this is either housing or recreation. I don't know how this is consistent with the comprehensive plan as it sits with the city. Now, there are a lot of options, you know, the city could cram it down, they could rezone this industrial, you got all those other issues. But then if you rezone it industrial, allow Hobby in there, what happens when Hobby sells, then we end up with the factory there and it's worse what we have. So I've compromised off. And that is, we table this tonight and give the city administrator and the residents and Hobby time to try and work through a resolution. Right now, he's not, zoning compliance isn't doing anything. So we have time. So one, is there other property that would actually fit Hobby better, especially with what's coming with GE's fencing, get it away from the house? You got the True Value property. I don't know if there's any other land available to expand the industrial park. You've got the Endress property that maybe could be acquired. I realize it may not be in the city, but it still keeps his business local. And the other thing is if we reach a compromise, it gets everyone at the table that is affected by his business. You know, one of the compromises could be, okay, we give you time, a short period of time, maybe a year, to try and find an alternative place where this would be better. Two, set hours of when these trucks can be delivered and rock dumped and dust dumped. Fencing, you know, not chain link fencing, but 6-foot fencing that would help hide some of these things and cut down on the noise. I know, city administrator brought this up, that there's already a burning ban. When I drove by, you can see a dumpster and a pile of skids out front. But I kind of agreed with the first gentleman, this was one of my comments too, is if maybe if this operation moved behind the building, if you could get access back there, you know, that might be something that would make everyone happy. But as it sits now, how's he gonna get semis in and out without going on a residential street? And where is he turning those things around on his property, the way it sits now? I also want to reiterate, no one that I've talked to is opposed to Hobby. Seems like a really nice gentleman. He apparently runs a really nice business. This is about what's best for the city of Morrison and its residents. All of you that are sitting here today, what if it was your house across the street? You know, what does this do for property value or resale of the homes? Businesses should be a more business appealing property, not just because the golf course is no longer there, we can acquire the property cheap, and then we change the natural use of what's there. The other thing that I think that if Hobby were to leave, you know, are there grants available that you could turn this into a biking or walking path with nature? We've talked to GE, where this would be is not contaminated. And I just think that having that as parkland is beneficial not only to future growth of the town, the residents that are next to it, and then other residents throughout town. Spent many a day walking that golf course. It's one of the most beautiful areas around it. So that's a compromise, is that we table it tonight, we sit down at a table and see if there isn't a way to make everyone happy. Okay? Thank you.
Thanks. All right, Mr. Scott or Ms. Scott? Sorry, Phil, sorry. I can't read the first name. I apologize.
Okay, first of all, I'm supposed to just introduce myself. I'm Phil Scott. I live at 611 West Summer Street. And I want you to all know that even if you don't know me, I'm a very nice person. So just remember that as I speak, because here's my problem. I thought long and hard about talking tonight because I really don't enjoy doing this. But I decided to voice my opinion. And I don't know that you're gonna pay any attention, but if you don't, that's up to you. But from what I've got out of these meetings that I've attended, is if you are a nice person, you don't have to follow rules. So therefore, I'm just gonna put you on notice that because I'm a nice person and I don't have to follow the rules, there's things I'd like to do at my house. But I don't wanna go through all the paperwork of doing it. So, because I'm a nice person, I'm just gonna do it. And I don't expect anybody to get upset. Just say, oh, well, she's a nice person, it's okay. But I think you need to stop and think about the can of worms you're opening, because I'm not the only one that's gonna have those same things. If it's good for one, it's good for all. I was taught of my growing up years that a rule is made to be followed, and I don't care who you are. Do I know this gentleman? No. Is he in this room? I have no idea. Does that make him a bad person? No. Does it make him a good person? Don't know, couldn't tell you, don't know him. But he still needs to follow the rules. And as far as the noise ordinance, my husband was in construction, which he considered along the same lines of the, because you do a lot of outside work. The rules for noise ordinance, when he was in business, correct me if I'm wrong, he could start at 8 o'clock, but he had to be done by 5. If he was doing inside work, he was fine. You don't do landscaping inside, you do it outside. There's plenty more I could say, but because I follow the rules as of today, I won't go with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Charles Yost?
Nothing hand up. Very limited.
Okay, just start them at the edge. We'll,
Start my 5 minutes, so I'm at the light. Sweet.
well, yeah, you could just give the stack and we'll pass it around.
Let me a couple of them. Hand out a couple of them.
All right, thanks.
Like homework.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Bring down the temperature a little bit. Let's make it, let's get into a positive. It's like a little intro here. I've got 5 points on this. There's enough people can see what I'm talking about here. Does everybody hear me?
Yep.
Now, I can speak right into the microphone. There's a packet of information for the city council especially on their decision of voting on this, I call it a 5-star saga. But we've gotta set some ideas that are there and evident. And I'm gonna be hopefully as positive as I can. And I've got 5 points, 1 or 5 stars, but my stenographer just put them in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but they're all acknowledge 5-star landscaping company performing excellent form and functions with what they do. The best, right? Little pricey, excellent value. It's in my backyard. And I did a wonderful professional job on that. Number 2, reminding Morrison City Council is aware that 5-star landscaping is a business currently using R2 and R3 zoning residential for business storage. Those are all the next one. But there's pictures in there that everybody will see of 5-star landscaping business at their mothership in Fulton. Beautiful marketing, beautiful advertising, and a wonderful facility to have over there. Number 3, acknowledging 5-star landscaping requires more storage space for its business. In a private conversation with Bobby, when I was on the planning and zoning committee, I'm no longer there on the planning and zoning committee, so it's no longer any kind of conflict of interest, but I asked him the wrong thing, but I said, Javi, I think you need more room. He said he agreed with me for his storage. So number 3 is acknowledging the 5-star landscape requires more storage for its business. True. The current space is too small and too. The future temporary space will be further restricted by a GE fence across Morris Street. It's good. Number 4, suggesting if special use is approved by City Council, 5-star landscaping must adhere to all Morrison City Council requirements. That is, total abandonment of the current storage area within a reasonable time period. No burning of landscape material. Parting in goodwill with all local residents. Yet we all get along. I'm sure we can. And confirming, last point, Morrison City Council and townspeople want to retain and foster all businesses, especially 5-star landscaping. New and old, who flourish in Morrison with our motto, honesty, integrity, sincerity. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Jordan Berenbacher.
I am Jordan Berenbacher. I've known Javier for 18 or 20 years, since he came to Morrison. I've had the privilege to work with him professionally and privately. He's always been outstanding. He is a man of his word. He has gone on beyond what people have known. He has supported financially Morrison's softball heavily. organization, really, especially over the years. He has helped with down limbs from the city, move some snow. So we've done many acts that weren't awarded or brought forward to be the right person to do the right thing. It is unfortunate that this situation is happening. And I just hope that you do see that positive that he has brought to the community with your kids, the big kids, and so forth. And the organization is still active, travel softball. And now we know that Florida, I mean, Morrison was represented quite well. But in the intro, there's one or two. So think about that, we're trying to establish a complex, or, well, ball pass, possibly suggestion for that down there. It's just that he's always been a solid, fundamental person. And it is unfortunate this is where it's at, but he has been able to help out beyond what he could be. I'll make sure if I move.
Thank you. Megan Schuler?
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Megan Schuler. I'm a lifelong resident, worked for my dad at Schuler Motors for 22 years, and I operate my own local cleaning business for 3 years. So I know what it takes to run a business in Morrison and how hard it is. I am here tonight to voice my support for approving the special use permit for Javier and his business. Precedence matters, and Morrison needs to set a precedence that shows Morrison is open for business, not shutting down business. We cannot effectively close down a small family-owned business that employs our residents and supports local families. Let's not make a short-sighted mistake tonight. Some claim this business doesn't belong here, but history says otherwise. I lived at 813 West Park Street for 13 years, right next to the clubhouse. I lived there when GE was open, bringing semi-traffic, food service trucks, 3 different shifts of employees, day and night. On weekends, the golf course easily drew hundreds of people at a time. Commercial activity and hard work are the literal foundation of that area. I lived across the street when Javier and Lowell came to town and bought the golf course. I know firsthand how hard he works and the immense pride he takes in his labor. The complaints against him simply don't hold weight. First, one of the main people complaining about this business doesn't even live there. They are a non-resident property owner trying to dictate the local family's livelihood. Second, people are complaining about wildlife. Why would you buy a property surrounded by open green space and wooded timber if you didn't expect nature? Regarding logistics, it was mentioned that GE is going to be putting up a fence. I spoke with Javier directly. He completely understands when the fence goes up, he has to move all of his stuff and will utilize a different driveway. He owns 22 acres down there. It was also mentioned that Javier should simply relocate his business. I would like to state this is not a simple process. For him to find a buyer for his current location and find another location that is in hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not near $500,000, is nearly impossible. All will continue to employ everyone and providing paychecks. That kind of overhead simply is not feasible, especially when you consider how much our community relies on them. Javier told me he has very little room left in this year's schedule and is already booking into next year. So in conclusion, it's easy to complain, but it's much harder to build something. Javier built a business that supports this town. Please look at the facts, look at the history of the area, and support a hardworking local family. I urge you to vote yes and approve the special use permit for 5-star landscaping. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I have Brian and Jeremy down here, but it doesn't say that they have a subject for comment. Do either of you wish to speak? Jeremy.
So Jeremy Massa, I moved out here about a year ago. I've worked for Hobby at 5-star since then. But I moved out here kind of stuck in a pretty screwed up situation. And had nowhere to go, but his son had me start out in mowing, and then I started doing landscaping. He somewhere around that time found me a place that I could rent, live out of. I don't really know what else to say, except for I've been grateful for everything he's done, and ever since I've worked for him, I've done my best to show him and all his customers nothing but respect and do the best work possible. I wouldn't be working there if his place was moved on him, because I've had kind of bad luck with cars recently, and walking certain distances isn't really a possibility, especially when winter comes around. I just wanted to say that thankful for him, and that he deserves at least some more time to figure it out, or than just beats.
All right, thank you. Brian, do you wish to speak?
Hello, my name is Brian Lennis. I'm part owner of the property over there, and I own 5-star home care services. Me and my dad want to apologize for, I guess, causing so much trouble the last 2 years or whatever, whenever these complaints started happening. But we will continue to keep putting in effort to make it better, not just for like our company, but for the town of Wilson. I have a whole route that I do for lawn care in that area. About say six properties that I do. And none of my customers or clients have come out to complain about mowers. And I run machines all day. Mowers, weed trimmers, air blowers. And sometimes that route I'll do between, we'll say 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, sometimes 8 o'clock at night, especially if I'm having a long day. I do hope you guys give us an opportunity to either get the special use permit or to give us more time to figure out what we need to do to either move or just do better in general for, like I said, the company and the area. So we don't have to keep going through this kind of stuff. But I appreciate everyone.
Great, thank you. Rich Dunaway?
Yeah, the West Park Streets in there. I just want to support the last 5-star landscaping. As far as cars not running, neighborhoods, there's way more than just that one they were talking about down there. There's one in my backyard, neighbor's backyard, hasn't ran in over a year, so I don't think that should be 2 week thing, should be that big a deal. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I do not have anybody else with the subject of comment. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak in public comment? Please.
Oh, my name is Laura Hill. I live at 800.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed you. I apologize. I'm really sorry. You're right there. Thank you.
As far as like vehicles sitting up there, there's plenty of other vehicles around town that are sitting unregistered, unplated, untarped. Yards being unkept. There's a lot of that around town as well, not just at that property for hobby. If the, what do they call it, aesthetics of the area is an issue, then maybe put up a privacy fence along that hill, to cover the supplies. We support hobby. The traffic issue, I feel is not an issue. It's not any more than I feel is residential. I drive a diesel, so some of that is probably me. Yeah. I guess that's it. Thanks.
Once again, I'm sorry, I missed you on the list. You're right here and I just skipped over it. I apologize. All right. Anyone else for public comment? Hearing none, I want to thank everybody for keeping their comments at 5 or below minutes. That was really wonderful. Thank you. Those of you that prepared remarks, thank you for doing preparation in advance. Really appreciate that. All right, city officials, department heads, you have a written report from the chief. You want to add anything to that? Okay. You have a report from streets and you have a report from utilities. You have a report from Parks and Recreations. Later, soon, we will consider the treasurer's report. Do you have anything else you want to add now? Okay. Do you have anything you wish to report on from the city?
I submitted my report earlier this morning. I apologize I didn't get it out last week. But I did submit it to everyone this morning.
Right. Yes, you do have a written report summarizing today's agenda from the city administrator.
And I guess I will, since with the public being here, I will remind everyone if they missed the end of the meeting prior to this council meeting, IDOT had a stakeholder meeting with the Route 30 project, and there's another public meeting, open house style public meeting on July 21st from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. right where you sit.
So that's Tuesday, the 21st here. 1 to 6. An unrelated plug on Sunday, the 19th, the hospital will have their open house for the new edition, noon to 3. That's not on the agenda, but I'm just gonna stick that in there. All right, we have 8 items on the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to remove any item from the consent agenda?
5.
Okay, PNC meeting minutes has been pulled at Alderman Trevelp's request. Anyone else? Okay, I do want to highlight just 2 things. The impact program, our donation will put them over the goal for the Mustang Challenge, so that Morrison's part of the impact program is now fully funded, fully endowed. We're very proud and happy for that. And with Mr. Dunn agreeing to serve on Planning and Zoning Board, I just want to say that, you know, there are 24 people on 4 boards and commissions in this community that serve without compensation for the library, for the cemetery, for historic preservation, and for planning and zoning. And they are invaluable. And I'm very proud that all of those committees are fully staffed. And that's kind of, it was a challenge for me when I first became mayor, and now we have the right population there. So pat yourselves on the back. Okay, so items 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 on the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Those items are on the table for further discussions or questions. Any of them, any question you have, any discussion you want. Hearing none, since there is money involved, we need a roll call vote. Clerk?
Bruckner,
Yes.
Buckwalter,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Mahaffey,
Yes.
Schlegel,
Yes.
Travelt,
Yes.
motion carried.
Item 5, Planning and Zoning Board meeting minutes. Your pages 27 to 33. Alderman Travelt, you'd like open with comment?
I'm in a situation whereby I've talked to a number of people. And I just wish we could have got to the point where we could have sat down, possibly with Javier, and instead of waiting until tonight here, suggesting he move his equipment over the hill and doing some other things. Here we are tonight planning on getting a final vote. We're sitting here because basically the historic commission or the planning and zoning commission has approved it. So we're whether to approve it or not. So I'd like to see, I don't know, getting a continuance or whatever, I don't think is the answer. I don't know if we can monitor the situation a little more thoroughly. Work with Javier. I'm going to sit down and talk to Javier. I've seen him, have coffee with him, but I've never sat and talked to the guy himself. But we just can get a better solution to help solve some of the problems that the resident people have, and work with Javier, you know. Saying you don't want to lose business in town, but I don't know.
I mean, we said that before, I mean, I'm of the sense that we've been talking about this since April. And, you know, I'm in favor of hobby and landscaping business, but that property down there does not look like a landscaping business. That's the problem I have.
Yeah.
Now, he's had since April to do some work down there, which he's done some. But, I would like more work done. I would like more cleanup done. That clubhouse looks atrocious. And with the GE fence going who knows where, that's gonna pose a whole nother problem for him. So. I don't want to just kick him to the curb either, but. He's gotta step it up and do something down there. He's not doing it. That, and he may have done some, but not to my liking, especially on that front property.
Okay, so we've had opening discussion. I think it is appropriate for a motion to approve the minutes. And then we could open it up to further discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Now the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Board are on the table for further discussion. Alderperson
I would
Mahaffey.
like to make the comment that I understand, Todd, what you're saying. But April to now is high season for landscaping. So that's why I would be interested in looking at the spirit of time. You know, clearly.
Ryan, so,
What's
Yeah.
that?
Ryan mows for a living.
No, I understand that,
It
but
doesn't take much to mow down.
correct, but it's their busiest time, right?
Grass don't grow before May, April, and then the end of the season, then it's out of the.
And also,
Right, but. that's-
point of clarification is we're just talking about the minutes of the commission.
We're not talking
We're not
about the
talking about
ordinance
approving anything.
Okay,
yet. These are just a minute of the
Approved
meeting.
that they met and they made those recommendations.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll circle
that
back.
said, the discussion is not useless. It's pertinent. Definitely.
So we don't need to go on the minutes.
We will get to the special use permit shortly. But really, we're just voting to approve that the board met and they kept minutes and, we are accepting them.
I motion to approve the minutes.
It's moved in second. It's already on the table. You could call the question if that's what you wish to do. If you're ready for a vote, then,
Yeah.
I mean, we're just doing the minutes, so yes.
okay. All right. There's no money involved. We can do this by voice. This is approval of the commission's minutes only. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. Okay. Right now, we're pleased and happy to have representatives from Sauk Valley College to accept our contribution to the Mustang Challenge. And if you wish, Kim, to introduce John and then we'll have a very brief presentation and a very short photo op. Okay.
She wants to be in the picture.
Good evening. On behalf of Sauk Valley Community College and the Sauk Valley Community College Foundation, I want to thank you for your generous support of the North and Mustang Challenge. You heard a few moments ago where we've reached and where we stand. Your gift, combined with the generosity of many others in this community, has officially completed this major fundraising campaign. Because of this incredible community effort, Morrison schools are now fully endowed for the Impact Program, which is a lasting investment in the future of our students, our local organizations, and our entire community. This achievement means generations from Morrison students will have the opportunity to earn their tuition through their volunteer service, strengthening their futures, our nonprofits, and make our community thrive. Together, you have all helped create a legacy of opportunity, service, and hope that will benefit Morrison for years to come. I want to thank you for helping make this remarkable milestone possible. And at this time, I would like to invite my colleagues to share a few words. Joining me tonight are Dr. John Mandrell, our new president at Sauk Valley Community College, Dr. Lori Cortez, who is in charge of the Sauk Foundation, Ken Bird, who's helped in the fundraising efforts for the Mustang Challenge. And of course, Dr. Matt Devane, who is superintendent of Morrison Schools. And I would be remiss if I did not mention our local impact champion. Does anyone have one of the guesses who that might be? Who's the local youth department? So thank you for all the efforts as well. So with that, John, over to you, and thank you, everyone.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome our team up here at the same time. Well, we'll be brief out of respect of time as well. Thank you so much for this. This is just an incredible partnership and collaboration. It has been such a joy over the years to work with Morrison Schools and the community. I'll say even so much, we don't even have to change our wardrobe. So we absolutely love the color red too. And this has been a vision of ours for years. It is our hope that this challenge, this investment in your students will really reflect what your community is about. It's investing in their future for the generations, like Kim mentioned, further beyond us. It's our hope that your students in your community will continue to stay here, keep that talent in the Morrison community, and that it will produce more police officers, nurses, welders, our agricultural professionals, all of those folks. And we're so proud of this program and the way that it's earned. The students will earn their tuition through this. It's hard work. It's 4 years of community service and really getting to know your organizations too. So I have to say I'm on a local Lions Club back home, and we're not a young group, I'll say, and many of our fundraisers have been made possible because of the Impact Kids. So really get to know them more as they'll get to know you more too. So I want to thank you again for being a part of this. You're our 5th district, and it's been such an honor. And I have to thank Dr. Devane and his staff too. They've been nothing but amazing to work with over the years, and I'd like to welcome him to the community too. And it's been our here just over a year. We've already got a lot of great work done. So thank you again.
Thank you for your generous commitment to your students here in Morrison. I want to make sure everybody understands what this means. That as of today, every single student who ever graduates from Morrison High School can go to Sauk Valley Community College at no cost. This is an amazing feat. Thank you for your investment in the city council. I also want to make sure that we understand that Kim Ewelton and Ken Byrne, who led this campaign, made this possible for your community, for our community. I hope that when many years from now, decades from now, as they're looking back on their life, they realize that they not only made college possible for every single student here in Morrison, but made sure that our nonprofits here in Morrison could benefit from hundreds of thousands of hours of volunteerism for your kids. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. As I was introduced, I was able to meet some people in the room. My name is Matt Devane. I'm proud to be the superintendent of the Morrison School District. Only in about 13 days. And I know I don't have to end up saying much to a city council. If you serve on this, I assure you, you understand that our city is often only as strong as how well our community is interwoven. And we're interwoven with our local government, our parks, our hospitals, and our schools, and our education. In the future, to end up being able to educate our students and provide them opportunities for them to go so they can come back and serve and elevate our community is huge. And what the impact program is going to end up doing for us, it's going to make education accessible. It's going to make it such that they can end up being able to get the certifications, to get the step in life that other people around our nation right now would end up possibly struggling with. This opens doors for them, and it really makes us stronger. And since this is something that locks us in the future, it's unbelievable. And we've already started taking the first steps too, of reaching out to business and looking at how we can end up creating a handshake between internships, our high school, and the community college. So thank you for helping with this. It's something that is, it looks as an investment now, but it's going to be benefits for years to come.
Thank you.
Well, I am simply going to echo much of what's already been said by this fine team. I have been with them now about 1.5 years. Thrilled to be a part of this. It's so easy to cheerlead and promote and visit with you all about programs that do what this one's doing. which would have been around when my kids were in college. And they all started at SOC, and I think there's still some student loans involved. But, you know, I can't speak to the professionalism, the philanthropic attitudes that you all have, your willingness to pick up your phone when they call to visit about just those funding things and wishes that we had. So thanks again. And regarding those certificates, keep in mind, a lot of our students are college bound, right? They're gonna transfer to different programs, BA degrees, masters and beyond. Hopefully they'll come back and start businesses here in our area. But for those students that aren't necessarily college bound, all of the scholarship opportunities, all of the certificate opportunities, everything that happens at SOC are available to these kiddos. So keep that in mind when you're talking to a young man or woman that's not so sure. Iowa State, Illinois State, U of I is an option. There's a lot of employers dying to have them live right here in our part of the state and work for them in manufacturing, machining, and those fields. So please let us know. Thanks again.
Thank you.
I can just add too, if you haven't been off campus lately and you'd like to see things, come on out. Maybe if I have some alumni in the room, we'd love to show you around more too. And I hope this is an economic driver for you all too. If you think about recruiting new families into Morrison, this is something that adds to it. This is a reason to come to Morrison as well. So thank you again. We appreciate everything. We're honored to be part of it.
That presentation. Our official photographer.
Y'all want to be in the picture? Council members? Oh, council members? Come on, Vern. In the picture, Vern.
Do you want me to take that picture then? You get it?
No.
She did get the picture.
Who should be the recipient? Don? Okay. Hey, very good. Can we hide again a little bit in the back?
Are you talking about the Iowa happening?
You guys all ready? Ready. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. For the new system, end of this week. Great.
All right, so I realized I went out of order. We've already done items removed from consent agenda. So, item 2 for action, ordinance 2613, special use for 903 West Morris. Your pages 35 to 39. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. The ordinance is on the table for discussion, questions, comments.
Back for him, for, I don't know, if we want to table this for further action. I'll give them another 60 or 90 days to make improvements. To possibly put a fence up, move the equipment on and down over the hill. Whatever the case is. Like I said, I've never talked to Javier personally. He was willing to do that or make any further improvements, but I also realized that for him, he had to have some sort of guarantee that if he does this additional work, that we're in a position to look more favorably on it. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I think Vern's trying to say that there's still too many questions to vote for issue of a special use permit, and that was reading.
When is that GE fence going, you may know?
Well, for a matter of public record, GE has not submitted a fence permit or a building permit to the city of Morrison. I've heard the same conversation going around, but just for the matter of public and official record, no one has submitted a building permit for that fencing. And if they do, we hope it doesn't look like the other fence they have there. So
I mean, is there, are there, you willing to put the fence on the hill?
Yeah, no.
It would be on
This
the
is,
street,
yeah,
right?
sorry, this is not appropriate.
Alright.
I think that if we wanted to push it off, that it needs to be done in a more concrete way. As somebody, I went to the planning and zoning committee, and I think that people at the meeting were frustrated that it was back at the planning and zoning committee, and the committee was frustrated, and there was a lot of confusion, and if we're not gonna approve it today, I think there needs to be something way more concrete than we did last time. And I pushed for that last time, so I'm not saying we did the wrong thing, I just think from seeing that reaction that we need to have something more concrete.
And to go along with that, just as a matter of record, if we need to clarify what the next step is, we can, but according to the ordinance, the council has every right and authority to refer it back to planning and zoning for further consideration, et cetera, exactly as they did last time. We've gone through the public hearing process twice already. So I don't see that that's necessary, but if you wish to table it until the next meeting to see any progress, that is fine. But I just for the record, I don't think it's necessary to go through the public hearing again. That isn't necessary. But this council has every authority to do what you guys are talking about, either tabling it or further consideration, but you don't necessarily have to take it back to the planning and zoning. They have recommended it. And if there are specific other questions or issues that need to be addressed outside of the draft ordinance that is before you, please let me know. I don't know what else we need to address.
I think it's also important to bring note to pages 37 or 36 and 37. At the planning and zoning committee, it wasn't just a blanket recommendation to approve it. There was extra stipulations. There's 6 stipulations, such as one example is there's not allowed to be any burning. So some of the stuff that has been brought up to us as concerns, I think would also be covered if we approved this permit as written right now.
I'm gonna make a motion, let's table it for 60 more days. And we give them an opportunity to make any further corrections to improve the situation.
Now, so we have a motion to approve the ordinance. That would be a substitute motion, and we would look to who moved this?
I moved it.
Todd, okay. Are you amenable to a substitute motion?
The one Vern wants? You wanna table it?
Right,
You wanna table it for a certain period of time?
well. You can't approve a motion if we're gonna allow them more time to make some improvements in, whether it's 60 days, this is a busy season for him as far as work to be done. So if he is planning on making any improvements, they have work to do, physically work to do, other than work on the property.
What improvements do we need though? Because these are here, I'll just read the ones that are listed. We already have that. It can be used for storage of small equipment. There's no chemical tanks or barrels stored on the location. We can't have open burning our waste. It needs to be in compliance with our city code, and it can only store business related vehicles and trailers. So what other stipulations would it need to have?
Or fence moving if we.
But we don't require other citizens who have messes in their yards to put a fence in because we're tired of looking at their stuff, right?
And that's, yeah, if residential.
If we just go by that, it's Dave's job to enforce if that yard is getting out of control. Would somebody argue that maybe it's out of control with, a stack of 25 pallets today? Maybe. That's easily taken care of. You take it outside the property, you burn them. Don't do it in city limits, right? We've got that on there. But then they're gone. When I went and looked today, everything is congregated or consolidated into that one cluster. He's got pallets of rocks in the driveway of the old Prairie Ridge Golf Course. We know if anybody's ever done landscaping projects, you like a specific rock, you buy a certain amount as the landscaping company. It may be 5 years before that rock sells again. That's his property, he's gotta keep it somewhere. There's a property in town that is dilapidated. It's gonna stay usable by somebody who's making money and providing jobs in town. I don't see why we would not approve it going forward and let Dave Snow and the police do their job as far as all the other codes around town enforcing.
And the stuff that was on GE property has been moved.
Yeah.
There's no longer
It's all clean.
storage on GE.
100% clean.
Yeah.
I didn't even see track marks.
So I'm gonna leave my motion as it is with me too.
Any further discussion? If not, there's no money involved. We can do this on a voice vote. Unless the council wishes to have a roll call. All those in favor,
Have a roll.
okay. Would you please call the roll, clerk?
Bruckner,
No.
Buckwalter,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Mahaffey,
Yes,
Schlegel,
Yes.
Travelt,
No.
motion carried.
4-2. All right. Thank you. Starting on your page 40, establishing a utility billing processing fee. This has been discussed before, the idea that now that we are moving to a pretty much fully online society, paper bills cost money, cost postage, and they take time to process. Is there a motion to approve proposed ordinance number 26-11?
So moved. Second. We're on.
Okay. Any questions or comments on this?
I would like to make a comment,
Please.
because possibly I may be missing something here. Never mind, I just saw it.
Okay.
It's okay.
Well, no, I appreciate that.
The exemption for people that can show some sort of proof.
Yep.
I think that's, or the inability to access the internet. even,
Correct.
That could be added in, maybe.
You said you did see an exemption or you're asking for?
I'm asking for an exemption for people that don't have access. Or have the inability to use the internet, because they're out there. Right, so especially with the. With an elderly population that may have some confusion or inability to access that online.
Only going back off what the previous meetings. That was when Brian suggested that they come to City Hall, then at that point, to get assistance, correct? It's an option.
Yeah, because there's.
Can we get involved?
Yeah, we have,
Well, it can be set up on auto pay.
Brian, City Sullivan's,
I would,
could you go pick them up?
I would sit at Sullivan's with a laptop. But
You got it.
City Hall, for the record, yes, they're in the lobby at City Hall. And the people that work at City Hall would be willing to help or walk through the process of setting up.
So I feel like.
And this is just as an example, this is just for the billing. This is not anything about paying. So, it's, you'll be able to, set it up to get an email, and eventually, once the mobile app of our new system comes out within the next year, we hope, you'd be able to see it on your phone very easily. So,
Yeah, available on the phone, be available.
it will be, it's not yet, but
Not until the app is available.
no, not necessarily, just if you pass this ordinance, it'll go into effect 30 days after today, which would be in July, August, you wouldn't see the $3 till October because of the billing cycle.
It gives us some time to get the information out to.
Yes.
Yes, and we're going to continue efforts to offer assistance and information to the public to continually grow that e-billing option.
So. We don't.
But people you can always still get a paper bill.
We don't know when the app, it's been converted to electronic billing.
We have electronic billing now. Even in our old system, we did.
I just received my bill electronically under the new system.
Under the new system.
It's a new template, but it's the same.
Okay, I'm gonna sound a little bit like a broken record, so I apologize. I've already voiced my concerns about accessibility as well. And when I was doing more research on this, this didn't pass, so it's not like we can't do this, but the House did try to pass it, like the Illinois House did try to pass a bill that made it illegal to enact policies like this, and it unanimously passed the House, and then it died and it didn't go to the Senate. But I'm sharing that to show that this is a valid, like a big enough concern that there was legislation that was trying to go against it, and it did pass unanimously. So I'm just sharing that for information, for concerns of accessibility for, as you've said, people who maybe don't have the technology, but also poverty levels. So I still don't feel great approving this one. I would rather see a really big push for e-billing for those who are able but still not have a penalty, and see if that changes how many people and what type of cost this is to the city.
I think that's what it's saying.
Okay.
Let's wait 60 days before this goes.
You like the 60-day thing, don't you, Bert?
He just wants that.
Talking old people, like, you're not, there's younger people that don't even have computers, or they don't understand what electronic billing. People don't understand what EBT means, but before, whatever.
That is true, like, it is a little bit. I think that's my discomfort too. It's a little bit like putting the cart before the horse. Like, we haven't sincerely given the community the opportunity to experience this fully with this new system, and made a concentrated push to get people like, this is the way we're going to be phasing out paper billing. So yeah, I guess that's my hesitation too. It is like coming out way too strong, right? Like putting the cart before the horse, like, let's give them a minute to digest it. And even though we've had e-billing previously, and I understand that, there's been a lot of confusion in the community. And I can honestly say this for myself, because for a long time, you could only get e-billing if you had the automatic withdrawal from your account, right? So people share away from that, because there's people, myself included, that need to have that control of making sure what funds are being taken from their accounts. So since this is a whole different setup, and we can get good information on it, that they can just get e-billing, and it's completely separate from payment, right?
Yep.
Maybe give the community an opportunity for a certain amount of time before we start enacting the service fee for paper bills. That just would make me more comfortable, would make, I think, or make more sense. Cause then people, it might drive them too, instead of getting hit with a fee, like we're going to be enacting a fee, down the road.
When's the new system open, like, it's now, I know.
It is now. Thursday. It is live now.
Yeah.
And we just can't wait to open City Hall on Thursday, because there'll be a lot of questions and concerns, but most of those, I don't want to get muddy in the water here, but most of those accounts transferred. So it basically, if you received an email bill, everything should have transferred over, and your auto pay should still will work, etc. So it's up and going, but it's as new for us as it is for everybody
Right.
else too.
I mean, we can always delay that into say September, October.
Right.
And have a notice go out like now, say, hey, as of October 1.
Just so we have an
Here's-
opportunity to get good information out.
But then that gives them some time, it gives them a few months to go to City Hall and see what they need to do if they've, you know, or the library or somewhere, you know, and there's a lot more people that have internet than, I mean,
Yeah.
and,
When the September bills go out.
September bills will go out the last business day of August.
So that's what you-
That's only like 5 days.
August 29th or 30th. Going,
Yeah,
the BT would go in effect.
y'all have relative comments, I mean, relevant comments, and good comments. There's no rush to do this. We can certainly let the dust settle, so to speak, on the new system.
You're planning your vacation on when you're gonna be at Salt.
You don't think I'll go sit at Sullivan's, do you? Cause I will, by golly.
I just think it's more appropriate to elongate or like push this back a little bit before we enact the fee. To give in fairness to the residents, so they're well informed. And for the city to have that time to get the correct information out to the community. So that people can make the best decision for themselves.
Sure.
Right?
Right. Okay,
so we need to vote on.
We need to vote,
And
yeah.
then we just decide if it passes, what.
Yeah, and then, you know, just to point, section 6 is in full force and effect 30 days after its passage, so there's already a month
That's a fine.
before. Okay, I mean, I was just pointing that out. I have no vote. So there is a motion on the floor, moved and seconded. It does have dollars involved, so I think we do need a roll call vote. Is there any further discussion?
Do we need to change the 30 days in there to go a different date?
Can we amend the?
You may certainly move to amend.
I say October 1.
Order 90 days,
What about 60?
I do October 1 and then it's the last quarter.
October 1 billing,
What'd you say, Vern?
October 1
Yeah,
billing.
good idea.
Okay, so we need a motion to amend. The motion on the floor to amend section 6 to an effective date of October 1 billing cycle.
And Tyler, I make that or no?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to amend section 6. Regarding the implementation of the new processing fee. To move it from 30 days to October 1st.
So.
Okay, the amendment has been moved and seconded. That's the only thing we're talking about, the amendment here.
Okay.
Discussions, questions, ready to act? All those in favor?
I.
Any opposed? All right, we have an amended motion on the floor for the fee. Any further discussion on the amended motion? Hearing none, there is money involved, so we do need a roll call vote.
Bruckner.
Yes.
Buckwalter,
Yes.
Dunn,
No,
Mahaffey,
Yes.
Schlegel,
Yes.
Gravel.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. As City Administrator Melton described in his note to us all, we have been donated a piece of real estate along Jankren, starting on your page 44. We do need to formally accept that donation. And you can see the donation agreement has been signed, notarized, and given, and it's gone through legal approval. Is there a motion to accept the donation of real estate?
So moved.
Any further questions? Comments?
served in charge of getting that to be a green space for them. Make that happen.
But
You ever buy all the pine trees?
I went for a walk there, yeah.
Yeah.
And so the pine trees are only on the one side and
What are
then
you
the rest.
expecting some proposals, please?
Okay, I was actually already looking at ideas, but
Okay.
nothing concrete.
All right, this was a donation. There's no money involved. All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, we've looked into additional insurance coverage from the Risk Management Association of the Illinois Municipal League. We are already a participant in that association. We get our insurance through them. Here is a sample starting on your page 57. This is just a quote. City Administrator, do you have any further, I've read the coverage. Do you have any further elaboration on that?
I know at the last meeting, we talked about the coverage that this would actually provide. And I did receive a response back, and the response is, it depends. Essentially, I'm summarizing. I attached the policy for the coverage, and they essentially look at what happened, why the equipment failed. And we're talking about boilers, HVAC, the blowers at the sewer plant, pumps in our lift stations for the sewer plant. Big ticket items, not talking about a weed eater or anything like that, or a truck. This is significant, essentially infrastructure equipment. And so they would look at why it failed and the age of it and the cost to repair it versus to replace it. And it's essentially a case-by-case basis. And they would just take the more financial, beneficial way to replace it with the coverage. It's going to get covered. It's just whether or not it would be repaired or replaced.
Question, so I think, we could have a situation like when, Shane was here explaining to us the need to replace blowers, right? And one of the, pieces of information that he provided to us was, yes, this one that we need there is a little bit more expensive. However, he gave good reason behind that traction, to have that traction for the higher priced model. Because it was just the recommended, one that we need, if they had to match, there was a lot of really good reasons. So it caused us to see the benefit of purchasing what he was recommending, and even though the drop dead numbers looked like more. So my question is would it be my only fear, right? If we run into a situation like that, are they, if they're only looking at numbers, do we get subpar products that aren't gonna work as effectively with our systems as the people working with them are telling us?
Are these planted questions? Because yes, one of the points is that if a piece of equipment can't be repaired, there's a new generation provision which would pay up to 25% more of a cost of like kind equipment.
So let's
So-
say what we have there.
So what we had, and to replace it with a similar blower. And if there's a new generation provision that is not more than 125%, or I should say 25% more than the cost of the replacement, there is that provision in this coverage.
Okay.
So yes, you could get a better grade piece of equipment, up to 25% more.
Okay,
There is that provision in the policy.
okay, that's good to know, because that's the most recent situation, right?
Right, exactly.
And we've not had anything like this before.
No, to be honest with you, I wasn't aware of it. It's always been there. Other municipalities have it. And through a situation that we had is the first time I've even known about it. So, to me, this is awesome discussion and this is a discussion you should have, but I think it's kind of a no-brainer, really.
Yeah.
For what these, pieces of equipment would cost to repair or replace.
Yeah.
But with insurance, there's always a risk, right?
Bingo.
That was in the detail.
So do we have a quote from them?
Yes.
Okay,
The quote is that first page.
all right, I just saw the examples, no, sorry.
The breakdown that you sent out to us.
Oh, there it is, okay.
Was helpful,
Okay, good.
great, because it's like if you wanna go out and buy the car for $100,000 or pay insurance for,
Right.
you know, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the 6,000 something.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be a
67.
year, so this first year would be prorated. And then
Prorated to our fiscal year?
to our fiscal year, which is our policy year.
Is there a motion to accept the bid for breakdown, equipment breakdown coverage?
So,
Any further questions? Hearing none, there is money involved. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Buckwalter.
yeah.
Dunn,
Yes.
Mahaffey,
Yes,
Schlegel,
Yes.
Gravel, motion carried.
Okay. Deerview Condominium Association, I believe this has been discussed before. Anything you want to add?
If you take one of them.
Okay, okay.
I would just like to add. This is not on the agenda necessarily for action. And to be fair to the Deerview Condo Association, I would ask that you not take action tonight because they are not here that I'm aware of. But she did email me today because she did see that this issue was on the agenda. And she asked me to pass this out. It's essentially their argument from the request at the last meeting of what they're looking for. And I just want you, in the interest of time, if you haven't already, please read my note on this in the report that I've provided to you. Because while they do pay $28,000 property tax to the city of Morrison, only $8,900 of that $28,000 goes to our general corporate fund. The rest is all restricted tax levy money. So essentially, we would be giving them almost all their money back, so to speak, on snow removal that the city could do with their snow plows just on the streets alone. So, as your city administrator, this would not be a very responsible fiscal decision to consider this. However, to give them a fair shake, I think they should be here part of that discussion, and give you guys another 2 weeks to consider it after reading more detail, the information I gave you in my report.
You can comment on this here?
Please, sure. This is for discussion, yes.
As I was speaking to another, which. I think the numbers will skew a little bit for them wanting numbers from us. They were wanting reimbursement for the streets, okay? Which John Dickey does the streets, sidewalks and
Driveways.
driveways, which out of their $8,000, I would think majority of that would be for the driveways and sidewalks, which is more tedious than mounting the streets. So instead of maybe having, as this other person maybe said, if Dr. Smith to speak up, instead of 75, maybe 25, if that was even a consideration, but I wouldn't even do that because that would have a city power if that was the case, but that's your right.
I also want to add, I did try and research if other cities had situations like this where there were private roads owned by HOAs, that did reimburse, and I could not find anything of cities reimbursing for plowing or for lights. So,
We've been down this road before, I don't know what year that was,
1999.
plowing, maybe like it,
The reports then.
so they.
We, the city, have been reimbursing them for the street lighting down there since.
yeah, and I'm not saying
Since
to
it was
change
built.
that, but I understand they're already, like they're already
That's good
getting.
in like case.
Right.
As is. Simple.
I think when we have viable staff on the city's payroll that can perform the same function as they're asking to be paid for, that's outrageous. But that's just my opinion.
But they will be at the next meeting, and this would be on the agenda.
Put it as an
again
action item.
For an action item.
All right, appreciate your comments. Thank you. Again, for discussion only, we have received the audit report. The, the highlight is the two-page summary starting at your page 66. The good news is that there's no news. It's very similar to the audit reports I have seen in the last 5 years. We're thinly staffed. So duplication or segregation of duties is always going to be a concern in this town. Other than that, we're managing our debt, we're managing our net pension liabilities. And just skipping to the top, it's a clean audit report. So this is for discussion only. We'll have to formally accept and approve the auditor's report. And if you wish to have him give a presentation, that's up to you. We've had him on video before. We've had him in person before. It's really the council's preference.
And I'd just like to point out too, yes, before you decide on that, is his number one point under the financial summary is that our overall cash balance is down about $637,446. We've done a lot in this past fiscal year that we had to pay cash for. And this 637, most of this was restricted cash money that we had that was restricted for a specific project anyway. So for what we've been able to accomplish over the past year, and still have a significant portion of our cash balance still in the bank, is huge kudos to this council and the people that work for the city to maintain that balance. So when people complain that we're spending money, and we're spending money because we have to, but it's very obvious that this council is still very responsible with the community's money. And I think that's important to point out. So back to the question. Our auditor provides you with a written presentation, and that's what this is. Would you like to hear from him, see him, have him here, anything like that for the next meeting?
Yeah.
To talk about the audit.
Okay. Okay, so by consensus, we'll have it as a.
Sit down.
I just didn't know if that was included in, Luke Van will have money. Is that like part of his fee? If it is, let's make him show up and explain.
No, it's not.
Exactly.
No.
There'll be another bill, yeah.
The proposal required a written presentation.
I see.
The in-person would be additional costs.
We can all read.
All right, so by consensus, we'll have an action item next meeting, or do we need to wait 2 meetings?
Oh, next meeting.
Next meeting, okay. And then finally, again, for discussion only, the building and equipment tax levy for the library, starting on your page 139. Do you want to tee that up?
This is maintenance, a formality that we consider, that we have to consider each year to continue the additional tax levy for the library for building maintenance and equipment. Just an annual resolution.
That means it's a levy we've already had, we're just renewing it.
Yes, you have to approve a resolution. You have to adopt a resolution each year for this additional tax levy.
It's just kind of. So we
It's housekeeping, it's maintenance, it's, yeah,
Yes, for discussion tonight, just for your information, it'll come up for action.
yeah.
Donna, if she can also vote for it, she just.
Well, it's on the, to be fair, it's on the agenda for discussion only.
Yeah,
um,
yeah, I think,
I'm trying to move towards providing as much notice to the council as much as possible and to move towards the more formal ordinance process where you have a first reading and then a second reading kind of thing. So this is kind of that step forward to say, this is the first reading of that ordinance, and then you can vote on it next meeting.
council good with that? Excellent. As always, my favorite words, a motion to adjourn is in order. Anybody opposed? Hearing none. We are adjourned at 8:14 PM. Thank you all very, very much.